Atma here, deck tech for the month of June. Deck that I've chosen for today is this red Eldrazi deck. Now, this red Eldrazi deck is actually based off a deck that somebody played at pro events. This is a guy named Kent Kentner. Anyway, that deck has 4 ofs of some of the stuff that we only have 2 copies of. So I had to improvise a lot. But it was a deck that kind of had like Vile Aggregate, Thopter Engineer, Pia and Kiran Nalaar, but 4 copies of all that stuff. Reality Smasher. Since this is Magic Duels and they limit the amount of rares we can have, I improvised and made some other choices, some alternate choices. And at first it was worse than this, but I ended up adding Eldrazi Obligator because I had forgotten about it at first because it was not in that list. But anyways, when I thought of it, it like made this deck into a real deck, so I've actually had a lot of success with it recently. Basically, just 24 creatures. The 2 drops are Ruined Servitor and Eldrazi Mimic. Like, Eldrazi Mimic really is it's not that good. It's basically just a 2-1 for 2, but anytime that you play Vile Aggregate or Matter Reshaper or Thought-Knot Seer or Reality Smasher when it's on board, you get like a free giant thing. I pretty much attack with it every time that it gets pumped into a bigger Eldrazi because, you know, it's not that good except for that turn, so if I get to trade with something bigger, it's like really convenient. Ruined Servitor seems weird, but it's colorless, and so it pumps the Vile Aggregate a little bit, and I like that it draws a card because this is a deck that's mid-range, but it's slightly more on the aggressive end of mid-range, so being able to draw 1 extra card off this thing, even though it gives your opponent an extra card, really isn't a big deal. It has the added benefit of pumping Vile Aggregate, and it also gets pumped by one of our lands, the Oran-Rief Ruins or whatever, that gives a colorless creature a counter. The Eldrazi suite for Vile Aggregate pumps, as I said, Eldrazi Obligator. This is actually insane, especially against ramp. I have had people like play 1 Ulamog and I just take it and swing for 13 with their guy and it's just game over. Sometimes I curve out. I'll go turn 2 something, turn 3 something, turn 4 something, and then like get them on turn 5. Like they just die. Matter Reshaper, just another good like rare thing. It's value. And of course as I predicted, Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smash, they're the real deal. If you can ever play them, it's nice. There's Thopters because they also pump the Vile Aggregate because they are colorless, and they're also pretty good. And being able to sacrifice them with Pia and Kiran Nalaar is just randomly a good way to finish people off. And then of course, Exquisite Firecraft is one of the primary ways you finish people off because they think they have 20 life, but they really have 16 or 12. And so you get them. Fiery Impulse is pretty much just for the aggroest of aggro. It's nice to have something. And Twin Bolt is... The reason I chose Twin Bolt, it goes to the face, but it also gets opposing Thopters out of my way. And one of the main reasons I'll win some games is I just make a bunch of Thopters, and if I have the Oran-Rief land, this land will actually pump the Thopters into 2/2s, which is pretty crazy. Westvale Abbey is colorless source, but since we're playing things that make 1 or 2 Thopters along with a body, you can turn it into Ormondal some decent percentage of the time. There's only 1 waste because there's so many of these alternate colorless lands, so it's basically just big ol' mono red mountains and then a bunch of these special lands. Foundry the Consuls, more Thopters. I'm actually running the full 3 Blighted Gorge. You almost never need this, but when you need it, it's always relevant. I've had people like board wipe me and scoop to me having 7 lands in 2 of these before. Evolving Wilds, I don't need a ton of them, but being able to find like the exact red or the exact wastes a couple times early in a game is nice. And the last thing is just like Chandra's a powerful card, so you may as well run her. I don't run the other Chandra because Eldrazi are devoid, so they don't count as a red card, so you can't really flip her that easily. So it's pretty pointless. This is just a big haymaker if I get there. And yeah, that's the deck. Like, this is pretty simple. I know people like playing mono-colored strategies. This is technically a 2-color strategy. This is still red and colorless, because colorless is basically a color. There's mono considerations, and therefore it's a color. Let's play some games. So I do like playing aggro sometimes. I know I said I've hated playing like super aggro, like super mono red aggro or whatever. I'll play white aggro because it's I don't know, it's a little more fun for me. But I generally shy away from just mindless aggro strategies. And that's why, like, stuff like this, I mean, even though this is a little more mid-range, it kind of appeals to me just because you got, like, a Thought-Knot Seer and, like, some weird ways of making, like, 2/2 Thopters and all that kind of stuff, sacrificing lands. Like, it's kind of a strange take on it. I don't know what that means. Does that mean I got disconnected? Annoying. Oh my god, I don't even get to choose my hand. I guess I would have kept this. This game's silly. Mark this as a game that's proving that this program is garbage. Like, what the hell is that? I lose my opponent. I don't even get to keep her mulligan. It's so strange. Looks like we're against the exact aggro I was talking about. You know, in a lot of cases, I've cut out games like this. I've just edited them out. But I'll just play it in this case, just because it looks like our opponent's gonna have a reasonable draw, and it's just a mindless aggro that the computer can play okay. I'll take this too, unless he pumps with Titan Strength or whatever. Let's kill at end of turn. I'll probably take the 2 damage again. And then I'll block next time. Can't block anyway. Wait, what's this? Silly. Very silly. I mean, this is going to be a boring game, I guess, because it's against the computer, but... I actually like the Subterranean Scout, but I don't play that deck, so... I'll probably attempt to trade off with all 3 of these things. Playing against mono red aggro is kind of all about just not letting them... That was the best ingest ever, by the way. Infectious Bloodlust. But yeah, it's about just not letting them have creatures to kill you with. It's the whole game. In this case, I think we're officially the aggressor with only one card in this opponent's hand. If it's a Titan Strength, he does 5. Or he does 6. He has double Titan Strength, we still live, so... Just get on to this next game. There's the 1 Titan Strength. It's not quite game, but it is. Even though this wasn't really a real opponent, it was still an okay game to watch. It's sort of like the first game. You can kind of see, oh god. Okay, well, it's still a win. But you can kind of see just how, like, the deck plays out in a game, you know? And this is how it is. Those are the types of things that get played. And you can see that these haymakers, big deal. So now let's see if we can play against a real person, since that's a little more fun. The last time I did a deck tech, it was the longest post ever, because I did like a meta analysis with it, but the accompanying deck tech on the Magic Duels subreddit will probably be a lot shorter. Because the matchups, I mean, the matchups against Control and Aggro are usually pretty good. This is not a good hand, by the way, but I'm going to keep it anyway. The matchups against Control and Aggro are generally strong because it has those early burn for Aggro, and it's just, I mean, Control's not that great right now. It's good if you have a good player and the perfect lists and you run decent. You can go on a pretty good streak, but I find it somewhat inconsistent. I mean, it's not terrible. It's like fine. This deck is not great against ramp, but when I put Eldrazi Obligator in, it got a lot better against ramp. But the main reason is even if you take their big guy with Eldrazi Obligator, they often have like 1 Elvish Mystic to block with, which is annoying. Not to say that my opponent is ramp right now, but there's a decent chance that that's the case. He could also be like Delirium or 3-color or 4-color Planeswalkers at this point, for all I know. I like it when they waste removal on like Eldrazi Mimic because that's usually not very important. It's very uncommon that I get to swing with a good one. Usually because they kill it in fear of what I could play. I think my opponent's probably setting up for some string of like Languishing or something. Then again, if he just played Mind Rack Demon, Mind Rack Demon's a pretty tough one for... I think we would just lose to that. Because none of our burn hits it at 5. And it's a flyer. Like, we can beat all the big ground guys in the world, but a giant flyer is pretty much the end of the game. Nobody plays giant flyers, though, fortunately. They just play 1/1s and then languish and then play their shit. That's what everybody likes to do. Okay. So this could be some kind of, like, sack value deck. Which is not a... Well, what rank is this guy? 29. It used to be like the best deck or one of the top decks that you could possibly play, and now it's sort of fallen to the wayside a little. Our 5-land keep has turned into a 8-lander, so it's kind of getting crappy. But we do have a way to like win with just, you know, we play 2 more lands, pop Foundry, play a land, pop Foundry, and then If he's at 9, then Westvale Abbey can finish him off. But I would imagine we're going to get Languished way before then. If we draw another land, we may very well lose. I don't even want to commit anything to the board that doesn't have 5 toughness because of Languish at this point. Although I will play that because it draws a card. So that's fine. Maybe I have Fiery Impulse too, just so we can get damage in. I don't want him to block and sack. Rather have him just sack now since he's going to do it anyway. More 1/1s. Congratulations. Yeah, the Languish is definitely coming. It's another 1/1 for you. So you can play Languish and a 1/1. Or do it that way, sure. Ramp. Well, if he doesn't have the Languish, then I think we just win the game instantaneously. I know that the Thopters get haste, so we could get in for 4 in the air, but I don't want him to actually have Languish and get me, so I'm going to actually hold off on everything. It's better to not show him the Westvale Abbey, too. Keep that a surprise. Yeah, this is like that sack deck. He's gonna have a Priest of the Blood, right? It's pretty annoying. I think I probably just make the Ormondal, even though he could have, well, that is risky. If he has Fleshbag Marauder, the game's just over, right? Or damn near. Maybe I don't play Ormondal. I think I attack with these guys, which brings him to 10. And then I can crack the other Foundry and attack for 10. And if he attacks with this 5/5, then Ormondal comes unblocked and we just win the game. So we'll play it a little safer. He may very well not attack with this thing, which is unfortunate. He's starting to get his big things. Outline Colossus is big. Gaia's Revenge is annoying, sure. I hope he just plays a creature and attacks instead of Languishing. Languish would be so bad. I feel like it's a Languish. Yep. I suspected it, but it was better than cracking this and trying to kill his 5/5. Oh, gross. Oh, fuck me. Oh, I want to fucking rage right now. I could have just done that end of turn, but he had Rex Sage. God. God. That is the ultimate punishment. That is the ultimate punishment. Outside of the fact that he's going to play Gaia's Revenge next turn and win the game. Good God, man. Just pass turn. You won. You won. Congratulations, dude. Oh. That's what happens when you're bad. I just snap pop that thing and I lose a Thopter. It's gonna be critical, I know it. Alright, so I gotta play both of these guys. And I'm forced to block with one of them, which leaves me not enough guys to Ormondal with. Yeah, if he didn't have Gaia's Revenge, we would win this game. But that Gaia's Revenge is gonna end it. It's gonna force too many blocks. We have just barely not enough guys. In fact, if I would have played end of turn Thopter, he would have had to... Yeah, okay, so... We take 7. He plays a 1/1 to block with again. Even worse. Well, I guess we couldn't have won anyway. One, two, three. Yeah. It's fucking stupid. So if we blocked air, ground, can't take 5. Gaia's Revenge is always the most irritating thing in this game. 100% of the time. If we do it this way and he attacks all out and he doesn't have a blocker to follow it up with, which he almost assuredly will, and then we draw Reality Smasher, we win the game. It's a lot of things that have to happen. If he has any removal, we just lose. He has 7 cards in hand, so it's pretty likely. Gaia's Revenge, that is game. Alright, so I thought I made a mistake, which I did, technically, but we would have lost anyway to that. So... I'm over it. I mean, I'm not, because that was unfair. We were so close. We were so close. If I would have just Ormondal'd when I had 5 guys... Well, then again, he did have that Fleshbag Marauder. I was playing around the Fleshbag Marauder. Like, if I sacked all 5 of my guys to Ormondal and he Fleshbag Marauders, the game is pretty much over. We just, like, get 6 for 1. And we wouldn't have even got to gain 9 life because he had the block and sack in the air still with the 5/5 that turn. So that's why I waited, so that I could have a Thopter to sacrifice to Fleshbag. But... he had everything anyway, so there's just no winning that. Well, this hand is okay. Usually I don't like to play Obligator unless it's on turn 5, and we can't actually cast Thought-Knot Seer yet, but we do have a lot of sources for that mana, so maybe it'll come out. Yep. I really wish I knew what he was playing. That would make me have better knowledge if it's better to just haste out Eldrazi Obligator or save it. If it's red-green, I think I just play Ruined Servitor and try and get something better off the active trees in effect. If it's red-red, maybe I just get something on board. Okay, so yeah. I'm not going to be playing Obligator into that, that's for sure. Swing for 2, Fiery Impulse seems like a decent plan. Although I won't necessarily Fiery Impulse, we'll see. I guess he didn't need the mana off that blister pod. I would love to play one of these 4-drops next turn. With my luck, it'll be an Evolving Wilds, so I have to take the whole turn off. That's decent. Since we have the Thought-Knot Seer, we may as well save this Mimic so we can get a swing for 4 in at some point. I do fear Twin Bolt a little bit. If he had Twin Bolt, that'd be pretty irritating. 2 for 1. Twin Bolt's actually quite great against my deck. Pause. He has something, but does he use it? Oh, Twin Bolt. Wow. Justifiable fear. That's a good draw. That gives us something to play if we don't get a land again. It's probably a 4/4. Or Explosive Vegetation is also likely. Yep. I don't play ramp like this. I play Explosive Vegetation decks, but I don't like to play ramp. I do think that red-green ramp with stuff like Twin Bolt and Rolling Thunder is like the best deck, though. Well, not the best deck ever, but the best version of ramp. I think Thought-Knot Seer is pretty valuable here. If we get Oblivion Sower out of his hand, then that's just a huge deal. Or any other giant thing that we can't deal with. Nissa. We could let him have Nissa, but he doesn't have anything else. I would rather take if he had Oblivion Sower and Nissa, I would have taken Oblivion Sower for whatever that's worth. With our luck, he'll just rip Oblivion Sower right off the top. But then if we draw a land, we can Eldrazi Obligator him and just, I mean, that'll just end the game, just about. Because that'd be 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Well, he'd be at 1. I think Vile Aggregate is almost assuredly the play here. We just gotta hope that he doesn't Ulamog before we get 5 mana. Like we need to be able to take the Ulamog with the Obligator if need be to win this game against that kind of thing. All right, well that's a decent draw too. I like that. So the plan here is going to be Aggregate, pump our Eldrazi Mimic, force a chump block, probably burn the other 1/1 end of turn, and then probably Obligator no matter what thing he plays after that. All right. Hopefully he just plays oh, so he can chump block? That's silly. Alright. We'll make our aggregate even more gigantic. Oh shit, god damn it. Okay. This game never taps mana correctly. It's so stupid. I'm gonna save this Mimic, not attack with it. Well, now if he Ulamogs, he's going to kill these two attackers that I have now, and then I will just win the game. This is almost a lock right now. Plus this Firecraft is likely to end it. The only thing that would be a little annoying because it would delay us is Nissa's renewal. Because I'd gain 7 life. Almost dead to that anyway, though. Chandra? Wow. Kills everything. God, that was a good draw. It's obscene. It's obscene that that's what he drew. Jesus fucking Christ. I hate this game. Why not? That was irritating. Alright, so we can swing for 6. Seems fine. It did it again! Wow, it did it again. Ugh, I need to start using control. I mean, I usually do. Man, I hate to have you guys hear me bitch, but yeah, like, it's trying to let me cast the Twin Bolt, but I would have rather had a counter. Alright, alright. So all we have to do right now is dodge one thing, and that is Nissa's renewal. That's it. Oh, retreat to Kazandu? Sure. That gains life. So now if he casts Nissa's renewal, the game's like mega over. Alright. So he goes to 7. Jesus. Oh boy. Mistakes were made. Relying on this game to tap mana correctly is a thing. That Chandra rip that he had was pretty obscene. Let's play another one. I don't get too bent out of shape about just like straight up losing. I do get bent out of shape about them tapping mana correctly for me. Because it's like so natural, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter, oh, it's correct, it's correct, it's correct, and then like this one time, I just want them to like not tap this Oran-Rief thing, and it does every time. Sometimes I remember to hit control to select the correct mana, but when I forget, it is just irritating. I know the worst thing ever is to watch a video and listen to somebody like bitch about things, but man. And this is almost keepable. We need a land desperately, but we are on the draw. We could just get one right away. Nope. It's a good draw though. Gives us a 2-drop creature. That may be the bridge we needed to get to this 3rd mana. black-white vampires. I play against it very infrequently. I think the last time I played against it was the last video I made. I think I would trade with this thing. I think getting a land and killing his guy is more important than preserving my 2 power. Even though the Twin Bolt could hit like 2 of them. I would rather draw even if it lets them draw. It's a pretty easy block, I think. I don't think there's that much debate about it. He may have a Gravedigger or something. Oh wow, we didn't get it. God, alright. I want to save all this stuff. I think I just drop a Thopter Engineer rather than Twin Bolt. Oh god. Guess not. Yep. That was literally the worst thing he could have played. If I get a red, I'll just snap kill that Gideon. So hard to beat on an empty board. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let's just keep not doing anything. Now we can't even kill it with Exquisite Firecraft. It's pretty rough. This guy's playing more than a 60 card deck. His draw was good and our draw was bad. At this point, we certainly should have drawn a land, but alas. Yup. Yeah, so what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna lose. His hand was amazing, provided I went land, land, land. Now it's too late. Yeah, the Thopter Engineer doesn't even haste a guy at Gideon anymore, just dies. Yeah, so it dies, and then we don't have. Yeah, this game is actually just. We're actually dead on board right this second. Because the Thopters will never get this Gideon to 4, so we'll just have to chump block every turn until we die. I'm gonna try and pull out of it, but I don't foresee it happening. I know most people just leave when they fail to draw land like that, but I'm gonna give it the old I can't win, but I'll try anyway. Try. I wish he would just make a soldier. Oh god. Why not? Should activate a land. May as well gain 2 while he's at it. Must feel good to have Gideon against an empty board and missing land drops. Must feel just real great. That never happens to me. Usually I'm faced with a situation where if I play Gideon, I just lose. Yep, that's it. Wow. Irritating. Oh man, I should just delete this whole video so you guys don't have to hear me bitch, but God, that was just heinous. It's heinous. That's what that was. It was not fun. This will probably be the last one, but I mean, these videos aren't about winning. It's really about showing you how the deck works, and this, I have gotten to show you how the deck works. This is worse, but I'm not going to 6. Even though 6 isn't that bad, but I'm not going to 6. This is good enough of a 7. It's bad against control though, like so bad. I don't play against that very much, but it has happened. There's a decent chance that I just kill it with Fiery Impulse. Depending on what I think it's going to be. Or if he plays something more threatening. Yeah, let's get rid of it. I'm going to play... Well, I think he's probably got a Spatial Contortion. If he has Spatial Contortion, Ghirapur Gearcrafter gets incremental advantage, but Matter Reshaper does also. Yeah. If he has Spatial Contortion, I think this is better. Playing against waste decks, sometimes you go against Endbringer. And by the way, I would encourage you to consider Endbringer if you make this deck, because it's almost good enough. We have enough colorless activations that it's pretty reasonable. In a late game scenario, you get to draw cards with the double colorless ability. Well, I have no idea what our opponent's playing, but I think that's official that he does not have Spatial Contortion. He probably just has Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher and Walker of the Wastes. Fortunately, we're just going to end his life here with this Reality Smasher. Although Walker of the Wastes will be able to block. Okay, so that's annoying. He does have Endbringer. Okay, so Endbringer is a very annoying card. That's actually one of the hardest cards for me to beat. Because we have so many like things with 1 toughness and it can just ping them all. The last time I played against Endbringer was in one of my videos, like 2 videos ago. It's very infrequent, but I almost always lose to it. Should probably see more play. The reason I didn't put it in this deck, in my deck, is because I just thought it was a little too slow. Like, it costs 6 and it doesn't have haste. It does a ton of stuff, though. It's a pretty good card. Alright, I'm going to play Westvale Abbey because now we can crack console. Wow, okay. Hopefully we get a creature out of this. Oh. That was actually just horrendous that he did that. Because I could have Ormondalled this next turn. Alright, so I think a human cleric. Burn. This is Walker. That's perfectly fine. That's a good draw. He's just dead to that. Well, this video is at 45 minutes. Maybe I should play one. Alright, so that's the deck. I would encourage you to think about Endbringer in this deck. This thing is pretty good. Hope you enjoyed it.